Now, there's some game rooms that don't allow that.
Scott, I have to stop you for a minute. I don't know what a game room is.
Okay. A game room is where you can go play a game.
What do you mean play a game? You're on the computer.
Yeah, but we use when I used
Scrabble?
No. Well, there are game sites out there like Scrabble where you can actually, while you're playing, you're talking to someone on the side. It's a different form of a chat room. When you're playing Scrabble against somebody, you can be playing Scrabble against someone in Scotland, and depending on which site you use, you could actually communicate with that person. Not just play with the computer. You're actually talking to a stranger halfway around the world and playing a game with them at the same time. And what the kids don't realize sometimes is some of these game rooms, they think it's the computer. They don't grasp that it's a complete stranger they're playing with. They see a computer screen, they're in the safety of their house, but once they connect to the internet, there's a possibility that it's not the computer they're talking to, it's a game room where other people are playing and it's strangers they're talking to.
Okay, all right, so now I understand that. So now you got these kids going into a game room.
Yes.
Okay, and we're talking the 5th and 6th graders, and they think they're just playing a game.
Yep, and a lot, sometimes they are, and that's all they're doing. But once they go into certain rooms where they can ask and answer questions, it's a chat room, just a different form.
Well, how do you know? Or is it just,
the kids know.
Oh,
The kids know because there's certain game sites where you can just play. Like there's certain games that have the same games that we had as an arcade when I was growing up, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and you can play those and you're not communicating with anybody. But there's other games where it's interactive, and when you bump into somebody, you can type questions and you can answer each other back. It's just a chat room, just under the premise of a game.
Oh, I see. The game is the excuse to.
For certain people. And there's some, don't get me wrong, there's some great games out there for kids to play and have fun. But once you open up that communication, you got to know who you're talking to.
Oh, and how do you know?
You don't.
Do you know?
You don't.
All right. What about cyberbullying? Is that the age group that gets involved in that
it's starting
as well?
To. 6th grade, we're starting to see it go down in 6th grade or 5th grade. Unfortunately, with anything with technology, what I was talking about 4 years ago with high school kids, I'm talking about now with 6th graders. Because it's working its way down. They see their older siblings using it. They hear about it in the media, so they get involved at an earlier age.
Oh,
it's a bad swing, unfortunately.
Okay. Oh, and what is instant messaging? This IMing somebody?
Instant messaging is a program you can download through several different websites. There's not just one instant messaging program, but it's a communication just between you and me. It's a quick little note, almost like you leave a Post-it note on your refrigerator for somebody. It's a quick little note. It's a quick way that you and I can talk. Hey, how are you? I'm fine. It opens up a window on your screen, and it's just one-to-one.
So why not? So it's a substitute for the phone, like it's a text way of phoning?
Exactly. But the problem that kids run into is you also have what they call a buddy list with those. And your buddy list, there's no limits on how many you can have. And your buddy is who you talk to on Instant Message. And there are kids that have 200 to 300 people on their buddy list. I don't know 200 to 300 people that I want to talk to, never mind have on my list and communicate with. That's why I think they're talking to strangers. Because you can hear someone's screen name from a game you're playing. If someone's on Xbox 360 and they're playing with a stranger in one of their game rooms, someone could say, hey, I got this screen name, hook me up on IM. And all of a sudden, they get added to their instant messaging. Next thing you know, the kids lose complete control on who's on their buddy list because they're just adding people left and right. They're communicating with strangers.
Okay. All right.
It's not all bad. The internet has some good things to it.
No, I know, but the being aware, and talking with you earlier and going over the information on your website, and now this case, in the news about this young girl who committed suicide because of cyberbullying, it sets up alarm bells, and I'll bet, as of course my daughter she's all grown up now, but I have a grandson who's going to be entering into this world, and I think it behooves parents to get yourselves educated. We're going to talk more about that, as we go along. This is Scott Driscoll. He teaches internet safety and got a lot of good things going on. But I want to get back to this age group, Scott.
Okay.
So we talked about 5th and 6th graders. What about the kids getting a little older? They're going into middle school, 7th grade, 8th grade.
That's where
what are their issues?
Well, you're seeing, in my opinion, 3 major issues for middle schoolers. Social networking sites where they're sharing way too much personal information about themselves.
That's like Facebook,
MySpace, YouTube, they're all considered social networking sites. Texting and sexting is a huge concern.
Sexting?
Sexting, where someone will take an inappropriate picture of themselves, a naked picture, pictures that might even be deemed child pornography, and forwarding them to people. And it's called, the term is sexting. And cyberbullying are the 3 major concerns that I see for middle school kids.
All right.
And they all have serious consequences and possible long-term effects that the kids just don't understand.
I liken it to, giving someone who is 9 years old a Ferrari. It's like, here, go drive.
It's a great analogy.
Go have fun.
We want to have communication with our kids. We want that sense of security that if my kid's out somewhere, I can get in touch with them real quick. That's a great part of technology. The problem is we're giving our kids access to the world through our phones. There's basic cell phones out there that could just make phone calls and that's it. But the kids don't want that. They want the Blackberries, they want the iPhones, they want all the bells and whistles. With those bells and whistles, as fun and as good as they are, come dangers, and if the parents aren't aware of it, it can happen.
All right.
I'll share one. I
okay.
learned a lesson. There's a game called DSi. It's Nintendo DS, but it's called DSi. When we first got it for my daughter, she got it as a present. She said, "Dad, hook up the internet for me." I'm like, "What do you mean hook up the internet for you? It's a game thing." And she said, "No, I can go onto the internet. If we go to McDonald's and they have a free Wi-Fi, I can go on the internet while we're having dinner." And I didn't realize that. And I don't think a lot of the parents know what the I stands for in DSi. It's DS, internet. And no matter what, you can think your kid is playing a game while you're at McDonald's, but if they connect to the McDonald's free Wi-Fi, they're surfing the web while you think they're playing a game. And parents, it was an education for me, and I'm in the field. So it's constantly changing, and parents need to be aware. And I know we're going to talk about that,
okay,
but
yeah.
that whole gaming thing just came to my mind.
Oh, okay.
Again, there's good parts to the internet too.
No, I know, but there's certainly people cannot be complacent. Parents can simply not be complacent about this.
This is one time when parents need to be parents and not buddies. There's going to be fights. There's going to be arguments. This is when parents need to take an active role.
And the child's going to say, "I hate you. I don't want you as my parent."
And every time a kid
says
that,
you're so mean.
And you know what I tell the parents? Let it be a long and healthy hate.
There you go. There you go. Because otherwise, if the parent does not know what's going on, does not maintain control, the consequences literally could be deadly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. We're going to go back to age groups here. One more age group. High school kids.
High school kids.
Those who are old enough, who should know better.
And they're doing things differently than the middle school kids are. The big thing for high school kids, there's still a ton of cyberbullying, the sexting. But the social networking sites are a big concern for what high school kids should be focused on. They create these sites and they set them to private and they think no one's going to get into them. They can get into them. They're not as easy if they're not set to private. And what I mean by private is when you set up a social networking site, you could set it that only my friends see it, or I can't be searched. And it's the safer way to do it, but it's not 100% safe. And what happens is, and I know down the road, these college kids, when they apply to college or jobs, their employer or their school is going to say, "We need to see your social networking site before we hire you or before we allow you into our school." And what you put on there is a permanent record. And the kids aren't thinking long term. They're just seeing the fun of sharing all this information.
And look how cool I am. Look how wild I am. Look how something stupid I did over the weekend.
Absolutely.
And there it is forever.
Absolutely. It's a permanent record.
Well, well, well. Okay. So let's talk about some of the tips that you give to kids. Let's assuming first that they are not resistant to having you talk to them. Is that the case?
No, you know what? Most groups that I talk to, the kids want, they want to learn. They want to be safe, but they also think they want to know more than us. And when I go in and talk to them, it's never a lecture. It's, guys, I'm you online. When I'm online, I am a 12 to 15-year-old kid, so I'm experiencing the same things they're experiencing, but I see it as an adult where they just see it through the kids' eyes. So there's not a lot of resistance. At first, they might want to show that they know a little bit more about it than I do. And once they realize that I know a little bit of what I'm talking about, there's a lot of give and take. I learn something every time I talk to the kids because they will tell me about a new website or a concern that they might have. And I think they walk away with some knowledge saying, okay, whenever I talk to a kids group, my only goal is next time you sit at the computer, ask yourself, am I being safe?